Hey guys, there you go back with another episode of Thatpsguy Cigar Lounge. Um, gonna give everybody a few minutes to get in, but hopefully we'll get things going and we'll smoke them if we got them like we did last time. Uh, leave me a comment, let me know you guys are here. We'll give them just a few seconds and then we will get started up. We're gonna be smoking a nice Monte Cristo this time around. Be a very good light. So let's put the wrapper off this guy while we're waiting. Hope everybody had a nice Easter. There's the back end of this bad boy. Haha, got it. Got the big ring off. Now let's see if we can get the little one off. I've never understood the point of putting two rings on one of these things. If you guys know in the comments, let me know. I never understood the point. Never, never, never. You know, wish I knew. Wish I knew how to turn up the volume on that microphone because I'm still not real convinced that it's loud enough. You guys feel free to let me know if there are any issues with the audio. And there we go. We got the last guy off. Alright. So I had a pretty good Easter. Got to see some family. Got to, get to hang out. And got to see my brother and my sister for the first time in a good minute. So that was nice. Um, that was real nice. Got to hang out with my wife's side of the family. We're gonna go ahead and do a nice little cut right here. There we go. Right there. Mwah. And my wife today picked me up this bad boy as an Easter present. New cigar lighter. Pretty badass, isn't it? So, welcome if you got them, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, heck yeah, that's good. Heck yeah, that's real good. And same as last time, we're just going to sit here and ramble. And if anybody joins us, we'll have a conversation. But I'm just going to sit here and ramble about Easter until the guard's gone. This one may take a minute. Um, so first of all, I wanted to apologize for having to cancel at the last second on the last live stream of the Last of Us Part 1. Uh, just had some family things come up, and as I've said before in videos, I enjoy making this channel. I enjoy having it be a thing, but it's not going to be one of those things where I sacrifice it to the sake of my family. But I appreciate the fact that everybody would understand. And we will get back on schedule. I'll probably pick up that live stream probably tomorrow night, hopefully. We'll start off with our next chapter of The Last of Us Part 1. I really enjoy, sorry about that. I am really enjoying playing that game. I am really enjoying bringing it to you guys. I know not many people are watching it right now, but hopefully folks will check it out at a later date. Um, so yeah, we'll probably be bringing that tomorrow night. I will give you guys more information on that probably at some point tomorrow. Nice night out here, man. As you guys heard me talk the last couple of days, there has been a lot of rain in our area. So we've been getting rained out. You guys have seen. Typically, I like when I'm doing my PS guy short. Typically, I like to go outside and do those. I have a nice little area where I like to um sit and chat, and I don't really get disturbed hanging out in that area. Um, so it's kind of a nice quiet area. I'm still sort of working on my confidence with the YouTube thing and letting folks know that I'm doing it. So it's a place where I won't be bothered when I'm recording them. Even though I do a background for most of my videos, it's just a nice little area. But sometimes it's difficult to actually find time to record one of those when you're inside. So I was running out in the rain to do most of them. That was a long-winded way of saying I'm glad it's not raining anymore. Really glad. All right, look, I'm getting tired of this McPhee pop-up scan thing that keeps popping up on my computer. It doesn't like the fact that I'm streaming right now. So, um, give me a second. I want to have a chance to post the fact that we are live, at least on Facebook. So, if you'll give me a second, I'm going to pause the microphone and get my daughter to bring my phone to me. Hi guys, sorry about that. We are back and we are back in action. Okay. I just want to get a chance to post this on Facebook that we were live. I'm going to do that right now, and we will go from there. And I will start. I guess we'll start sharing stories about Easter. Yeah, there we go. We are live right here. Hang on, I gotta make sure I get all the right punctuation in there. All right, and on that note, I think we are good to go. And on that note, I think we are good to go. And that's a neat little way to check to make sure the microphone's working, because it is. So you can hear it feedback style. All right, so I guess I'll start the first story. Mighty fine cigar for those who are wondering. Um, got up about 8:30 this morning. Spent a little time with the Bible, and as one would typically do on Easter Sunday. Uh, After that, got cleaned up, shaved. Didn't shave, but trimmed up a little bit and got dressed and went outside with the family to find my wife dyeing my daughter's hair. And just they had so many dimple on her, poor girl. Um, uh, but they finally got that done, got that rinsed out. I don't think it quite turned out how she wanted it, but I think it looked good. But what do I know? I'm a guy. I'm a stupid dad. So after they got done with the hair, we all kind of just fluttered around till about 1:30. We left the house officially at about 1:20 when we were supposed to be at Thanksgiving dinner with my wife's side of the family. At We were literally supposed to be there at 1:30, and it's like a 30-minute drive. So that was interesting. Um, we got there and we went to my brother-in-law's house, and my brother-in-law and his wife and his wife's side of the family. Her family just the neatest bunch of people you ever met in your life. Nice, approachable people, great people all the way around. Got a new baby nephew. Just now starting to move around himself, starting to talk, and taking a lot of interest in my wheelchair today, trying to climb on it. It was interesting trying to make sure you had the brakes on at all time because you didn't want to climb on the wheels and one wheel move and one of his little fingers get caught and was. But we sat there and we ate a little food. We nibbled on a little bit of this, nibbled on a little bit of that. Didn't want to eat too much just because, we were going to a second dinner, and it's one of those things where you got to make the right balance. Uh, but anyway, everybody I think had a real good time. I got to play. They got to play with the baby. The mama of the house, my sister-in-law. Not only do they have one just barely a year old, but she got another one in the oven, and she's starting to show a little bit, and but still getting around doing her thing and doing great. So good to see, and well, finally, I guess about 4 o'clock, we left out of there, and after being about a half hour late, we left out of there and went over to my side of the family, and uh, my daughter gets out of the car and she goes up this wheelchair ramp that my parents have remodeled, which I thought was really really nice. And all I heard when she got there said, "No, nobody." All I heard was a voice say, "No, nobody's here. Doors locked. Nobody's home." And I immediately recognized that voice as my brother. So she come back down and said there was a voice said nobody's home. I said, "Go tell your Uncle Josh left your butt in the door." Um, it was nice to get to see my brother right off because I don't get to see him or my sister anywhere near as much as I'd like to. So it was nice, and we got there by his mom pulling the ham out of the oven, macaroni and cheese and all that good stuff. And we get sat down in the living room, sit there and eat. And God, my niece and nephew on that side are just getting so big. My oldest niece just got her first car, and they said that she got a license, and I looked at them and said, "Thank God I live on the other side of town." Yeah, drives anything like her mama or her uncle. Heaven help us all. But yeah, so sat down and have a nice little time with them, and uh, my wife and everybody just started getting a little tired, so we decided it's time to head on home, and got back home and got sat down, and my wife and I started watching the TV show. probably gonna end up being one that we're binge watching. Called it's on Netflix. Anybody checked it out? It's called The Night Agent. So far, it's kind of like Jason Bourne meet 24. Not a bad little combination for a 10 episode deal. Pretty action packed. A lot of twists and turns going on in the story right now. I won't ruin anything for anybody if you want to check it out, but not bad. Not bad at all. Um, so yeah, that was kind of cool. I spent a little time before we took off today, and I played a little bit more of Resident Evil 4 remake. And guys, I'm really loving that game. If you haven't checked it out and you're a video game nerd like I am, make sure you take time to check that out. They released their first round of free DLC with the mercenary mode the other day, so I took a few minutes to check that out. And it's one of the best mercenary modes they've ever done. I thought it was pretty crazy. If you come in at a later date to watch this, or if you come in um, while we're streaming live, leave your favorite cigar in the comments. I'd like to know. Any cigar within a reasonable price range you guys want me to try, that'd be cool. I'd like to check it out. So, one of my favorite bands of all times in high school and even up to this day, band I'm sure every last one of you have heard of it, a band called Linkin Park. May Chester, rest in peace. We miss you, brother. One of the greatest vocalists of all time, and certainly one of the most unique bands to ever come across. I think, unfortunately, I think they've got a little bit of a YouTube uh, sort of stigma about them these days. I don't know that it's necessarily earned, because if you really look back at Linkin Park's library of music, they've actually got quite a few really good hits that I suspect a good portion of us grew up with. Um, but since we've had the 30th the 20th anniversary of their first album, Hybrid Theory, and I think we just reached the 20th anniversary of their second album, Meteora. They released a special edition of Meteora, which also has a few unreleased tracks with that they had recorded but never made the album. The first one was Lost, a song called Lost, and I really enjoyed that. It's one of those. I understand that not every song that an artist makes is going to make it on the album, um, and so I understand sometimes some things are going to get left, but Lost was a really good one, and they released another one a few days ago, maybe a week ago at this point, called "Fighting with Myself," and just that song "Fighting with Myself" hits me so hard from home personally, because as someone who you can ask all my family members are loving, they're all forgiving, but I have a long history of messing up, and I have a long history of asking for forgiveness. And things that people in my life have been very gracious with that, and I'm grateful. But yeah, that song has really hit hard with me because the one of the key lines in it Tetra says over and over again in the song, "Fighting with myself, I always lose. Fighting with myself, I always lose. You can set up and forgive me, but I will always fail." The song, from an emotional standpoint, reminds me a lot of Johnny Cash's song "Hurt." Um, Pretty cool. Guys, please share what your favorite bands are down below, your favorite music. What's your best song out there that most resonates with you in your life? I'd be curious to know. Guys, because there's not, hey, blame it, my cigar ashed out on my foot. It happens sometimes. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, blame it. My good shoes. And my new chair. Um, God, what was I saying? Shit. Pardon language. So I was about to apologizing for being a rambling idiot. Without really having anybody to converse with in this segment right now. It's kind of just rambling and coming up with stuff to talk about on my own. That's why it seemed somewhat rambly. Typically, I'd like for this kind of a segment to become more conversational. You guys in the comments ask me questions or we share stories, that kind of thing. That's how I want it to be. But sorry, neighbors pulling up in the yard. Um, Apologize for the music. um, Young ones. But the reason I'm rambling the way that I am is because I don't want somebody to come into the live stream for the third time and it just my ugly butt sitting here smoking a cigar. It'd be kind of boring. I also don't want to be caught off guard. So I apologize for that. So if you had to, again, sorry, neighbor pulling up. So if you guys had to, man, I lost my track of thought again. Can you believe it? Rambling idiot here. Idiot. Why would you watch this? Why? I don't understand it. Don't understand 24 subscribers. But that being said, thank you guys very, very much. One thing I did want to ask. For anybody that might check this out at a later date. If anybody comes up in the comments, I'll ask live. The 100% of my views for this channel come from those shorts that I leave, and I know those shorts can't be entertaining. There's no way, because it's mainly just me talking about new subscribers or talking about things that I'm going to be doing in streaming, videos I want to make, stuff like that. So I know that's not entertaining. My question is, why is, and I'm not talking, I'm not being sad, I'm asking for legit advice. Why is it that I'm having trouble getting views on my long-term content? Is there something about it? Because I noticed one or two people check it out short-term. What is it about it that's not keeping people long-term? Is it just my reach isn't quite out there yet? Maybe. I hope. Is there something about? Is there? Am I not doing enough commentary? Entertaining enough? Is there something I can work on to make it better? Let me know. I have to, again, no criticism is too harsh. I understand I'm stepping out onto the internet here, and I'm asking for advice. So I'm open to your harshest critics, harsher criticisms and harsh critics. But please, I would really appreciate some advice on how I can make my content better for you guys. So I guess I'm just gonna have to come out and outright eventually ask that question in short, because I understand at least some of it is the fact that YouTube promotes shorts over long-term content all day long. YouTube likes their shorts; they want to compete with TikTok. So, and that just seems to be where people attention spans are going these days. You know. That blame good cigar. I'm enjoying the heck out of this. I'd like to say a special thank you to my we don't exactly call them assistant managers. They're just assistant managers at my job. They're called leads. But my lead, Kyle, the guy that hooked me up with this cigar, I want to say a particular thank you to him. Thank you, Kyle, for this. I'm enjoying the heck out of it, brother. Hope you feel better. But one thing, video game, movie related, because y'all know that those are things I like to talk about. We have any Five Nights at Freddy fans out there that might check this thing out. I think I talked about it last time. I'm a big fan of watching the Five Nights at Freddy games be played. I'm a um, big fan of listening to the lore and stuff like that with channels like Game Theory. Big fan of watching guys like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye play the games, but with my reaction time, I just don't do well with those. I think really the only one that I've played through completely has been the Security Breach game. And I know a lot of Five Nights at Freddy purists would say that that's not really a Five Nights at Freddy game, and I completely understand that. I agree with it to a certain extent. Um, but we did get a an official release date from Jason Blum himself for the FNAF movie, and got a picture shot of Freddy, the animatronic, standing out in front of a beat up um Betty Fazbear pizza with what looks like a little girl. I think he said that's going to be October 27th. That is one I'm excited for. Only thing that got me nervous is that while it is going to theaters, it's also going to Peacock streaming on day one. And that concerned me just based on how um how much confidence they may or may not have in that movie. My hope is that they've got a lot of confidence in it and that we'll get a lot of we might well maybe not a lot because I don't want them to run it into the ground. But we'll get a few sequels out of it because if you do it right, that kind of stuff definitely has franchise potential for movies. Um, uh, Willy's Wonder World, Willy's Wonderland. That is the name of the movie with Nicolas Cage. Yes, Willy's Wonderland. Uh, for a straight video movie, whatever the heck you call it, VOV, what video on demand movie, straight to that you whatever you want to call that. That movie was pretty darn good, and it was probably working on a fraction of the budget that this movie had. Matter of fact, I think probably most of that budget went to hiring Nicolas Cage, which I love and am iffy on because if you're gonna have Nick Cage, why would you have him as a silent protagonist? I mean, Nick Cage and all his craziness and glory would have been fantastic in an environment like that. I don't know why you wanted to be quiet. That's just me. Excuse me. Mm. Um, but yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the potential for the new Friday the 13th movie. I think I may have talked about this one on the last stream, not that the whole lawsuits and everything are over with. I think my understanding is that there's a script and that the movie is at least in pre-production now. So that one I'm also excited for. I'm on a little bit of an island with this, but I really enjoyed the remake that they did a few years ago. Um, I don't understand the hate that that movie gets. They said it was poor development of characters in that one. But to that I say, what Friday the 13th movies have you been watching at this point? You don't watch Friday the 13th movies for the stories and the characters. You watch the Friday the 13th movies for the big honking hockey mask dude going around killing people. That's all you watch it for, and that is okay. Man, nice night out here. It was a good bit chilly this morning. It really, really was. I'm glad it's warmed up a bit, even though I do still kind of need a coat. But it is certainly good enough that I can sit out here and bring you guys the cigar lounge in whatever way it means that that is for you. Um, you know, you would think that for a guy like me, you would think sitting here and just randomly talking to a camera would be easy because if I was sitting out here by myself, just quietly smoking a cigar like I often would do, all kind of random thoughts just going through my head and thoughts just kind of pushing their way through, just wondering things. I'm a natural at talking to myself, so you would think talking to a camera would be a little bit more easy than this. So it sounds like at work, and I'm not gonna say the company I work for because I don't want to get in any kind of trouble with. I suspect it. Never mind. But we're going through some big changes at work. Sounds like over the next month and a half, there's gonna be some big changes at work. All sounds like gonna be good things, man. But I'm excited about it. I have a privilege of working. Retail is what retail is, but I've got the privilege of probably working at one of the better retail companies that there are out there. Um, I worked at a couple of retail places before. I worked at Radio Shack before it went out of business. And at Radio Shack, you were less than a number. My buddy Big Jamie, he worked with me at Radio Shack. That's how he and I met. I was actually friends with his girlfriend before he and I met, and I'll never forget that day. I went in for that job interview, my first job. I was really excited about it. Uh, I don't want to be that guy that pouts about being in a chair, but not really a whole lot of job opportunities out there for a guy that's got a GED and a wheelchair and not much else to his name. So I got married for whatever reason. My wife felt like she loved me enough that she wanted to marry the bum that had not much more than a disability check. And but we had finally reached a point where we had needed me to start making a little bit of money, and I didn't want to be that guy that just sat on his butt at home because I believe that it is my job as a man to be the example for my daughter, to be the example of the man that I want them to end up with. And I didn't want them to think that it was okay to date a guy or marry a guy that just sits on his butt. Now, I'm not saying that I don't have some extenuating circumstances to come with that, but that's not always how it's perceived. So I wanted my kids to see a dad that worked. So I had that motivation. But anyway, so time for me to come around for my first job, right? Um, so I go in for my first interview, and I interviewed at the Radio Shack that was in the mall in our area. And I go in for that interview, and nicest lady you ever met, the manager there. Young lady. We sat there and we talked, and my most job experience that I had up to that point. Working my way a little bit through college at that point, but I had my most job experience I had at that point was mostly volunteer stuff. Going for that interview, and apparently she thought I was a real nice guy. Um, and apparently I had won her over enough that she called the district manager and said, "If you don't hire this guy, I'm going to make your life hell." I found out later on that she had the ability to be very annoying and was willing to be very annoying to get me that job. And Patrice, if you're still out there somewhere and you see this, thank you, because even that small start at Radio Shack, I wouldn't be sitting where I am right now if you hadn't put it out there for me first. Thank you. So I go in and interviewed with the district manager. What do you say about that guy? He kind of like a used car salesman. You could tell as you got to know him later on that he knew the company was going under, but he was going to toe the company line all the way till the end. You know what I mean? And so I interviewed with him, and I know enough about technology that I was able to make it through with that. And then eventually I got a phone call for another Radio Shack. It was one of the biggest Radio Shacks we'd had in our area. And in our area, it felt like there was a Radio Shack about every 30 feet. Which, and I suspect that was the way it was for most Radio Shacks wherever they existed. Radio Shack wanted to be the corner electronics store, and I think that's one reason what caused them to go under because they were all cannibalizing each other's profits. So anyway, I go in for that interview. with the manager of that store. What do you say about him? Didn't make the best first impression with anybody. Guy probably about 350 pounds overweight. Don't mean to fat shame anybody. People are who you are. I certainly am overweight myself, but he was big and didn't clean. Um, but at least at first impressions, he seemed like a nice enough guy, and he was willing to give me a shot. Um, uh, at least that's the way I took him at first. And then he introduced me to one of his other employees, and that was Big Jamie. Introduced myself to Big Jamie, and he walked out, and for whatever reason, the manager said, "Yeah, his girlfriend's in a wheelchair too." Don't know why he thought that was relevant. I guess maybe he thought he was gonna have some sort of interlink there, and I guess for some, I guess I understand that. So I said, "Yeah, really?" And he said, "Yeah, her name is Hope," and I knew that name. And so I asked him a question. He said, "Yeah, that's her." So then all of a sudden he said, "Well, would you like to talk to her?" Because I hadn't talked to her in a few years, and every time I talked to her, she's always sweetest lady. So he called her up, and I said hello, and we talked back and forth. And I said, "Yeah, I'm here applying for a job interview. Well, I'm here for a job interview, and hopefully I'll get it." And basically, she said, "Jamie, take me off speakerphone," and basically said, "Jamie, make sure this boy gets the job." So I thank you, Hope. So I ended up working for Radio Shack for the longest time. God, not the longest time, about 2 years. It felt like the longest time. Radio Shack was hell. Oh man, I think we died out a little bit. That's okay though. We are gonna relight. Thank you again to the wife for the new lighter. Very nice. So anyway, what was I with my story? I ended up working for Radio Shack for about 2 years, and eventually we got word that the store was starting to close. Big Jamie and I would often watch the stock market, particularly for Radio Shack. And once you started seeing the stock hover around 30 bucks regularly, we knew it was in trouble. They did a lot of drastic things trying to pick things up. They went into cell phones, not a good business move because the cell phone world is very much a saturated market, and most people don't go to Radio Shack for cell phones. Their Radio Shack niche was they were the small parts store. You could get a lot of the small stuff there for fix it yourself kind of things, and that in itself is an area that is dying. Most people would rather just buy a new one these days. Excuse me. Um, so we started getting word that stores were closing, and we saw that the stock dropped below $5. And I don't know if it's still this way, but back then, if it stayed below $5 for a month, they kicked you off the stock market. Well, it did stay below for about a month. No, for a month, and they kicked off the stock market. And once they kicked off the stock market, we started getting word that some doors were closing. We knew it was done. Um, and then they sent us a notice saying that they were going to turn our store into a clearance hub. Uh, Not long after that, my manager was released. Um, they gave us a new manager for about a week, maybe about a month. He stayed with us, and then after that, they basically just left me, Big Jamie, and one other guy there, and basically just wished us the best of luck. They told us they were gonna turn us into a clearance hub, That was their way of not telling us they were closing the store. They kept assuring us the store wasn't closing. They were just turning us into a clearance hub. They were lying to us. We knew they were lying, but they were lying to us. And then about 2 months after that, we got word that they officially finally told us a week before they closed the store that they were closing the store. Then they told us that they were not interested in moving us to another location. Big Jamie and I chose not to take that personally. We chose to take it as a blessing. Our last day at the job, they pretty much asked us to help tear down the store, and that was going to be it. We did. After that, a friend of my wife's got me hooked into this place where I'm at now, and it's a great job. I like it a lot. Uh, they take care of us there. But long story short, I do feel like I'm a little bit more than a number where I'm at. Don't know, I'm still just a number in the cog, but they do have their own way of making it feel like it's a little more special. I do feel like the people that own this company, or the one person that owns it, because it's not a publicly funded. I don't. Yeah, it's not publicly funded. I feel like for him laying off employees is the absolute last option, and I like that a lot. It makes you feel very safe. And it is nice to have a secure means of contributing to your family's well-being. So I appreciate that. I feel like there was a long version of that story I was trying to tell where it was ultimately going somewhere, and I don't know that it really was. I think that is the story of how Big Jamie and I met. By the way, I would love to set up another live stream with Big Jamie. I think he enjoyed it, and I know I did. So hopefully we'll get him back on real soon. It's nice. It's easier to do live streams of games whenever you've got somebody else to bounce off of. And Jamie and I have many, many years of bouncing off each other for conversations. So I enjoyed it. Um, I could just sit here. Maybe not sit here and talk to a camera all night, but I can certainly sit here and just chill and relax and smoke this cigar and watch the cars go by. Nice little front porch, man. I enjoy it. Hopefully, I'm not being a jerk and keeping my family up. I don't think they can hear me for the most part. My youngest daughter, I'm gonna have to figure out some ways of getting her more involved with this channel. Um, I'm not gonna. She's too young for me to have on camera, and I'm not gonna be one of these parents that. I feel like there are some parents out there that exploit their children for YouTube views. I'm not gonna be that. That being said, she seems to have fun just holding the camera at times when I can't. Uh, Particularly, I think I shared the story with you guys last time. She was the one holding the camera whenever I was showing off my new chair to you guys, and that's been one of my highest rated shorts that I've gotten. Um, so that was fun. But I'm gonna have to figure out some ways to get her more involved. I've announced in a short, and I mentioned it in another stream of The Last of Us. We got some branding starting to go on for this channel. I got some logos that are going to be going up. Hopefully, I hope tomorrow. My oldest daughter designed those. And I'm really excited to show them to you because she did a great job, and I can't wait to have a little bit more personality going on with this whole thing. Maybe that'll attract a few more viewers with this. Because when I first started doing this, man, I just thought it would be once I realized that it shows you how much I actually pay attention to the whole thing. Once I realized that you could actually live stream directly from the PlayStation without anything extra, I started looking at it. And I thought, well, hey, we got Resident Evil 4 getting ready to come out. And I was thinking, wouldn't it just be fun to stream it? And I said, okay, well, I guess I'm going to stream it when it releases at midnight that night. And I said, well, might as well advertise it a little bit because it don't make no sense to live stream something if you're not going to advertise it and let folks know you're going to be there. So that's when I started doing my shorts, was just trying to let you guys know that I was going to be there. I wish it had translated into some views. There were a few people that stopped by and checked it out for a few minutes. I think a lot of people were just looking for anything they could to check out with that game. And guys, again, great game. Check it out for yourself. I kind of quit playing it just because the work of making the videos wasn't worth it. I want to grow an audience a little bit more, hopefully with live streams and shorts for a little while. And then once I start developing more of an audience, then maybe we'll start exploring the concept, doing videos again like that. Um, but after we did the stream, I had a good time streaming, even though it didn't get a whole lot of traction. I have a good time making shorts. I wasn't expecting it to kind of become its own thing, and I know it really still hasn't yet, but I wasn't expecting to really put as much into it as I have. But I'm having fun. And guys that have come along to subscribe, guys that have checked out, guys and girls who have checked out anything that I've done. Literally like something like 99% of my audience is here in the US. 1% is in Canada. For the two of you that watch me in Canada, I love you. For the rest of you that watch me here in the United States, I love you guys. We're starting to get a little bit more of a balance between men and women. Ladies, thanks for showing up. I appreciate you checking me out. I try not to be a jerk on here. If I say anything that offends, I do apologize. I am not the most PC person in the world. But I certainly don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone. I really do want this channel to be a channel that we don't talk about politics here. I don't deny the fact that I am religious, that I am a Christian, but I'm not looking to shove my religion down anyone's throat. So that's not going to be a thing because I don't feel like God called me to force him on anybody. So that's not going to be what I do here. Uh, my Easter short today only got one view, so I hope I didn't offend anyone with that. I just wanted to share the love that I have for this particular holiday. And Easter is a big one for me. So, what do we talk about now? Riveting conversation, riveting rambling going on here, right? um, let's see. What if I? Again, I know this isn't the most riveting of conversations at all. It's kind of hard to do a communication thing when you're sitting by yourself. But I am going to keep this going for at least until I'm finished with the cigar. I am going to do that. Um, as I shared before, this is kind of the thing that eventually, once I get enough members, then I can start getting some reliable traction for streaming. I'd like this to become sort of at least a subscribers only thing. So it's just a better way for you guys to communicate with me, for me to communicate with you guys, because I want to get to know you guys. I want you guys to get to know me. Um, as much as you might have an interest in getting to know an old man at this point. Starting to get a little chilly out here. You can start seeing my breath, and that ain't the cigar smoke. But no, it ain't too bad out here right now. It really isn't. Only thing that will make this thing better At this point, it would either be a nice glass of whiskey or even a hot cup of coffee, but I'm not going to drink coffee at this point because I wouldn't sleep. And um, just out of the alcohol right now. I finished off the last little bit of the alcohol today at my family, my side of the family Thanksgiving. A few weeks ago, we had an uncle of mine pass away that I was really close to. Um, Biggest regret that I've had um, since he passed was simply the idea that I didn't spend any more time with him than I did. I really should have spent more time with him, and I miss him a lot. It really hit me hard when he passed. But if there is one good thing to come out of that, and talking to my youngest daughter, and her understanding that about his passing, and the one thing that I wished was that I had spent more time with him. She has now started to have a desire to spend more time with her grandparents because she saw, I think, the hurt that I was going through. I'm not a guy that I really don't try to be, super teary eyed and sad in front of my kids. I try to be was taught and raised to try to be a little bit more in control of yourself than that. So I'm not the most overly emotional guy all the time, but with mourning, obviously that's the thing. And if you try to cover that up and buckle it down, it isn't healthy. So of course my kids saw me being a little upset. But in conversations with my daughter, mom asking me about my uncle, and just it come across that I think the one big regret that I have with him not being here anymore was that I didn't spend any more time with him. And like I said, now she's real big on spending time with her grandparents, and if like I said, if there's anything good that came out of that, it was that. Both my children, as they're getting older, man, my two little girls, guys, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Two of the sweetest little girls you ever met in your life. And I say little. My 14-year-old is damn near 6 feet tall, towering over me. Shoot, even my 11-year-old is rapidly approaching that same height. Um, God, but seriously, my wife is amazing and strong and bullheaded and stubborn, and I love her every bit for it because she keeps my butt straight and in line. Um, I would not be the man that I am right now if God had not put her in my life. I'm so grateful for that. I just hope every day that I'm given opportunities to evolve into a better man, a better human being, the father and husband that they deserve because shoot, I know I'm not there. And I think most dads and husbands would agree on that we're not perfect and but I think as long as we're striving to do better and to be better, um, hopefully the fact that we're trying is enough. Um, we my brother and I were sitting out on the end of the ramp in my parents' backyard today, and my parents own a good chunk of the property that surrounds them as well. Property right next to them got this trailer on it. It's an elevated trailer that you can only get to the front door with steps and or porch or something like that. I've never been inside of it, but many years ago, the previous owner decided to try to put a big old gun safe on that front porch, and it basically just the whole thing just collapsed. It and fell down in on itself. And since then, they have since destroyed and removed whatever was left of that porch, and now there's not really a way to get inside of the trailer. And my brother and I were sitting there looking at it. We said, you know, there's something wrong with that trailer, and I can't quite put a finger on it, but I think they malfunctioned right there from the entrance. I don't know how you're getting in that place anymore. And said, my brother said, yeah, they should probably just go ahead and tear the whole damn thing down. But the thing about it, in the backyard of that trailer, there's actually like an old outhouse that probably been sitting there. No jokes about it, and I kid you not, because the house my parents live in is an old mill house that's been there since the late 1800s. Old mill house. So it's realistic to think that that outhouse that's sitting out there is probably just as old, if not older. Been sitting there for almost over 100 years, and the outhouse is still sitting there. And you know, it's a joke amongst men and ladies. If you're watching this, I apologize later. Uh, most great men have done most of their great thinking while sitting on the toilet. Any man will tell you that truth. For whatever reason it is, that's when we're doing our best thinking because we're focused. and um, my brother and I just sitting there thinking, I wonder how many great ideas have been come up with while just sitting in that side house. And my brother looked at me and said, well, the kid, I probably did my own fair share of thinking from that very outhouse. And I looked at him sideways for a few minutes, and I'm almost 40, and my brother's he approaching 45 himself. Um, and just God, we just sat there and just had a big laugh over that old outhouse because I remember always being too afraid to go near it, thinking a snake or something like that was going to jump out and get me because it's surrounded in an area that's just surrounded by woods. Just sitting there, I know that the box that you sit on is still in there. Beyond that, I don't know much else. I know the door's still on it. Um, but that whole neighborhood is an old mill town, old place called Conversate, and never was there ever a better place to grow up if you're an old country boy like me. It's one of those places that looks a lot rougher than it really is. It's one of those places where everybody knows your name. But anyway, it is the most redneck neighborhood you're ever going to come across. And just the fact that something like that is still standing in that neighborhood, and the fact that in that neighborhood still stands today one of the country's smallest churches. Still standing. I don't think they hold congregations there by any means. I don't think they've held congregations there for probably the latter part of 50 years. But the fact that the church is still standing and still in relatively good condition is well taken care of. But just knowing that you got that kind of history in your church, if you go or in your neighborhood, and like if you go in our neighborhood, there's a kind of the graveyard, and if you go into that graveyard, there's 4 or 5 burials where there are fences around the burial because it's an old Indian burial. Um, and God, just knowing that your neighborhood has that kind of history. It's just when you walk around and you look at it and you think about it, it's really, really, really cool. And my brother and I were just having one of those experiences today. It's crazy to think because the average, um, most people that would look at a neighborhood like Honesty probably wouldn't think much of it. But a few people would probably look down your nose at it. I certainly understand why you might. But just me and my brother sitting there talking about it, and just how grateful we are to have come from that area. Just because, like I said before, all the history that's there, man, it was crazy and a lot of fun. Um, Sorry about that. Starting to get down to the end here. Would mean good news for you guys. My rambling is just about over. Um, but uh, just so I got to talk to my sister a little bit. She is looking healthy, looking good. Got herself a nice little haircut. Looks real pretty. My sister's always been one for dyeing her hair, much like my daughter, much like my wife. The one only time I ever dyed my hair was in high school. I put blonde streak going. It was back in the day. Home Improvement was on, and Jonathan Taylor Thomas was the young boy that all the girls liked and all the boys wanted to look like. So I wanted to dye my hair and look like him. So that's probably one only time I dyed my hair. But anyway, my sister got a nice short little blonde cut and got some red underlaying going on in the back, and just stole my sister. But she looked good, looked healthy. It was good to see her. My my brother's wife was there, and she's been having to get around with a walker. I think she broke her hip or something like that, getting down some stairs not long ago. But it was good to see her out and about and doing well. I was real happy to see that. Um, didn't get much of a chance to talk to her. I wish I had, but it was good to get to see her too. Good to get to see the whole family, on both my wife's side and my side. It was the first time I've been able to have starts the cars. I don't know if that's coming on the audio or not, but I apologize for it. We're outside. I try not to smoke in the house because while I acknowledge that cigars is my disgusting habit, I don't want to impose on my children or my wife with it. So I smoke outside. But anyway, that might what I was saying. It was the first time in a long time, really, really long time that I've been able to have Easter with my side of the family. So I really enjoyed being able to do that. I'm really grateful to my wife for surprising me and figuring out how to make that work for everybody. We were able to do both of them. And I know for her sometimes that's a hassle because she feels obligated to contribute to both meals. So it's hard, but I'm really grateful that she was one. Getting down to the end, but I'm gonna smoke this thing all the way to the end. See, I'm a guy. See, it'll tell you when I was a kid how crazy I am. Thing that annoys me, the one only thing that annoys me about cigars is whenever you get down to the end and you can't smoke it no more because you're gonna burn your finger off. They still like a good if you were to put it into context of say a cigarette or a pipe. There's still a good chunk of tobacco sitting there, and most people just throw it away. Well, as a young person, still today that very much annoyed the crap out of me because I felt like it was wasteful. So back in the day, I would actually take the cigar butt and I would ground them down with a little grinder and I would put them in a pipe and I'd sit there and smoke it. But yeah, I will sit here and I will smoke this thing till my fingers cannot physically hold it anymore just because I don't want to waste anything. Put my glasses back on for a second so I can look at something. Ah. We are officially an hour and 2 minutes into the stream. Yeah, I'm blind to the bat for folks who did not know that. Let's see if we can have that one later. That's a little better. And I can keep my glasses on for some. So, I'm gonna be posting, like I said, the some of the artwork that my oldest daughter had put up for some of the ideas for some of the channel branding. Well, there one of the logos she got that says that PS guy in really cool lettering, and up above it, it has a wheelchair doing wheelies with flames coming off the back of it. I was thinking it might be kind of cool to have some variation of that chair with the flames sort of become the mascot for the channel. As much as I don't want my chair to be my identity with this channel, at the same time, I do have to kind of admit and be honest with myself that it is a part of who I am. And I think it'd be stupid to and wrong to ignore it. So I was thinking it would be kind of cool if we could, as a community, hopefully come up with a name for that little character and have it sort of become the channel mascot, if you will. Like I said, that logo in particularly, I would really like to see if we could make some T-shirts out of it to advertise. So if you guys have any cool names that you would think of for the idea for the guy in the chair, let me know in the comment section. Guys, if you are following me or you check out the channel, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Thatpsguy. I'd love to see you guys there. Message me, talk to me. I'm a real social guy. Ask anybody who's left any comments, anything, I always make sure that I respond to the comments, even if it's just simple to say, hey, thanks for commenting. But I really appreciate it. If we could hit, and hopefully we will, if we could hit 28 subscribers tomorrow. Obviously the goal is to get to 50 because I'd like to see if I can apply for monetization with YouTube. I don't think I'm going to become the next big thing. I don't think that I'm ever going to make anything resembling a decent living just doing this. But it would be nice to see this become a thing where I can kind of supplement some income. So I am going to, you are over the next few days, few weeks, and coming months, start to see a big push for me putting forth more effort into more quality for that kind of thing. That's why I'm asking for help to let me know how it is that I can better communicate with you guys and to get you guys more involved in the live streams and to get you guys to maybe check out some videos that I might post long form. And guys, please, if it's just as simple as I don't have enough subscribers yet, and therefore the algorithm isn't pushing it out there the way that I would like to, which I suspect is a big part of the reason that a whole lot of traction is not given. I also suspect that there may be some things that I'm doing wrong that is not getting and grabbing people's attention, so I would really appreciate it. If you guys would maybe give me some pointers, let me know what I'm doing wrong. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I can do more of. Let me know what I can do less of. I'm probably rambling, less rambling. We're getting down towards the end here. Towards the end, probably 2 or 3 more good puffs. And then we're probably going to call it a night. Probably another 5 minutes or so. Getting up to go back to work tomorrow. That's going to be a thing. Like I said, I think I'm going to pick up with the Last of Us Part 1 tomorrow night with another stream. Try to get another section of that done to bring more of that with you guys. After that, we'll probably move on to The Last of Us Part 2. From there, I was thinking maybe the God of War, the newer God of War games, God of War and God of War Ragnarok. Both games I love, guys. I know that I am playing and streaming games and posting games that have been out for a while. They're not new. I'm just playing through the library that I've got, and hoping and praying somebody will come and check it out. But I'm not gonna play games that I don't enjoy. So whenever you guys see me playing a game, know that I'm having a blast, and I'm having a blast. Hoping somebody's there watching, but I'm having a blast regardless. Um, but it would just make my day. I've shared the stories about me and my brother sitting there playing games as kids, and I would really like to kind of recreate that experience. I think that that's a fun experience. I think that's the best way to play games. I think that's one of the best ways to get to know each other and form bonds with people, man. I love it. I'll drop the cigar down on in. Anybody know any good jokes? It's okay, I don't either. Most of the jokes I know are what you would call old daddy jokes. And it's kind of joke where you told your kid and the kid looked, oh, daddy, You're so stupid. Thinking of the last of the part two, I actually ran hard for a good minute with the joke that Joel told at the beginning of that game, and it was basically, what is the downside to eating clock? It's time consuming. All right, so I'm gonna tap this off by telling you guys a story that has a lot of great meaning to me in my life. It's a story that changed my life, and hopefully it'll change your guys' life too. Called the ping pong ball story. So here we go. There was once a little boy who had a dad who owned his own company, big Fortune 500 company, very well-to-do family. And one day the dad had gotten word that the kid was not doing well in school. He was slacking out on his grades and just wasn't paying attention to what he was doing and bombing hard in elementary school. So the dad calls his son into his office at home and says, "Son, I understand you're not doing well in school, and I want to give you an incentive to do better in school and to get better grades, and we'll see where you go from there." So he had to explain to his son what an incentive was, and basically what he told him is what an incentive is basically you're gonna do X, Y, Z, and I'm gonna give you a reward, a reason to do well. And he told his son, he said, if you can get your grades up and pass elementary school, make your way in middle school, when you graduate from elementary school, getting ready to go into middle school, I'm going to bring you back into this office and I'm going to give you whatever you want, no questions asked. Bottom line, period. So the son agreed. The son buckled down. He started getting really great grades and eventually made his way out of elementary school. And so dad did what he said he would do. He called him back into his office whenever he got the word that his son was moving on. He said, "Okay, son." He said, "You kept up your end of the deal, so I'm gonna keep up my end of the deal." He said, "What do you want?" And the son looked at his dad and looked down the floor and looked back at his dad and said, "Dad, I think one thing I want more than anything else in the world is a pink ping pong ball." And dad was really, really confused by that. But he remembered at the same time that he told his son that he would give him whatever he asked for, no questions asked. So he did what his son wanted and gave him a ping pong ball. Well, a couple of years down the way, the son gets into eighth grade, and we're kind of reaching the same problem we had in elementary school. Son starting to bomb again and not doing real great. So dad calls him into the office and basically does the whole thing over. He says, "I'm gonna give you an incentive. You make it through middle school, and I'm gonna call you back in here, and I'm gonna give you whatever you want, no questions asked." So son said, "Okay," and did what his dad asked, and he buckled down and started getting great grades and made it into high school. So dad called him back into the office and said, "Okay, son, what do you want this time? Anything, no questions asked." And son said, "Well, dad, first thing I want you to do is I want you to find me the most expensive pair of shoes in the entire world, and I want you to bring them to me right here in a box. And when they get here, I'll tell you what to do with them from there." Dad said, "Okay." And so he sent out one of his employees to find the most expensive pair of shoes in the world, and he brought him back to his son right here, right there in front of him. And the son opened the box. He took the shoes out and then gave them to his dad and said, "I want you to donate those shoes to charity. And then I want you to take this box and I want you to fill it full of pink ping pong balls." The dad was really confused. But again, no questions asked. So he did exactly as his son told him. He donated the shoes and then filled the shoebox full of pink ping pong balls. Um, and well, same thing over again. We're getting to at the end of high school, and once again, the son, I guess he had ADHD. He wasn't doing well. Start struggling again in school. And so dad calls his son back in the office and said, "Okay, son, same deal as last time. Get through school, and once again, I'll give you whatever you ask for." So the son did it, buckled down, made it through high school, got accepted into one of the biggest colleges in the entire world, one of the biggest Ivy League schools you're going to get anywhere. So dad called his son back in the office and said, "Okay, son, what do you want this time?" And he said, "Well, dad," he said, "I want you to call construction workers, call contractors, and I want you to have them build an entire extra wing onto this house, an entire big wing. And once you get it built, I want you to fill that room full of nothing but ping pong balls. And Dad was really confused, but Dad was a man of his word, so he did what his son asked of him, no question that. Um, well, we get about midway through college, and we're getting ready to go to spring break, and son's getting ready to come home from college to visit with his dad. We're getting ready to visit with his dad, and so he called his dad up and told his dad he's coming home, and Dad said, "Well, I won't send the chopper for you, so you can be home tonight." And someone said, "Well, Dad, if you don't mind, I think I'd really like to drive home." Got him a new car for his birthday. He said, "I think I'd really like to drive home." And Dad was a little disappointed, but he said, "Okay, son, go ahead and drive home." And he hung up the phone and he went to bed that night. Well, about midway through the night, Dad gets the phone call and he answered the phone, and it was a doctor from one of the local hospitals in the area saying that his son had been in a car accident. And said that the car accident was really, really bad, and it would probably be a really good thing if you got here as quickly as you could, because if I'm being honest, I don't think he's gonna make it. So the dad gassed up the chopper and got to the hospital ASAP and landed at the hospital. And basically, the doctor told him, said, "Look, you need to go in there and spend what time with your son that you got as you can, because he doesn't have long left." And the cigar is done, and just enough time to finish the story. Um, so dad goes in there and he sits down with his son. His son is conscious, and recognizes that his dad is there, and um, him and his dad just kind of sit there and they talk back and forth a little bit, and and eventually dad says, "Son, I promise I'd never ask, but I gotta know." He said, "Son, if you don't mind telling me," he said, "what is the thing with ping pong balls?" He said, "Does it have to do with your mama? Is it what is the deal with all the ping pong balls?" And his son looks at dad and he kind of smiles and he takes another breath, and he said, "Well, Dad, the thing with the ping pong balls, if you really, really want to know, is really important. The thing that's so important about them," he takes another breath. He said, "The thing with the ping pong balls is," and he goes in for a good deep breath, and then he died. Anybody listen to that story later on, that's one of those jokes that it's never funny to the person that heard it, but it's always funny to the person that tells it. And let me know if you got any cut like that in the comment section. I remember the first time I ever told that to my mother-in-law. She slapped me over the back of the head so hard I thought she'd give me a concussion. Yep, that's the end. Well, guys, I enjoyed sitting here rambling for what it was worth at about just over an hour and 15. So it's getting a little cold out here, so I think I'm gonna call it an evening. Guys, if you're checking this out at a later time, I appreciate you checking it out. Uh, hate to sound like a typical YouTuber, but I want to. If you don't ask, you don't get it. Make sure you like, share this thing around, comment, subscribe. We will be doing this. I hope that hadn't been. I suspect that's been bleeped out for quite a while now. And you guys, anybody takes the thought has been sitting here listening to me ramble for God knows how long. And for that, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's probably been going on for a lot longer than crap. Um, so crap. No wonder you guys aren't checking this crap out. So I'll kind of give you a recap of some of the things I was talking about. The rebranding thing going on. I'd like to see if we can come up with a name, and hopefully we can create a mascot out of a little character that's in the branding thing. If you got any ideas for that, let me know. I'm gonna catch up with the Last of Us Part 1 live stream. Hopefully tomorrow night. Probably most likely tomorrow night. I will post and let you guys know that a little sooner. Um, I'd tell you to ask me what I'm doing wrong. Let me know, but I think we just figured it out. I'm an idiot. Guys, I really am having fun doing this for whatever it's worth. Um, I will be right here back next week, same time. Hopefully, not having any hiccups this time, and hopefully, you guys will come through and check it out. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Crap, guys, I will get better at this. I appreciate the patience that you've given me. Hopefully, you guys will check it out later. Remember, common sense is not that common, and I love you.